Today we're here for lesson 6 of our mini course. In this lesson we will discuss the dynamics of horoscopes, not just the static aspects. In the previous lessons you learned about the planets, houses of the horoscope, zodiac signs, and methods of combining characteristics into a unified interpretation. The thing is, everything in the horoscope doesn't work all at once. This static picture doesn't work all the time. In astrology, there are planetary periods. The system of planetary periods is called Vimshottari Dasha, and you can verify which period you are presently in by utilizing the complementary software Jigannatha Hora. You must open Dasha's tab and examine the Vimshottari Dasha tab. Once you establish the present period, in other words, the celestial body that governs today, you can ascertain what occurrences will manifest in your life. The principle of prognostication in astrology is very simple. You got to understand clearly what a certain planet promises, being located in a specific sign of the horoscope in a specific house. For instance, in this horoscope, the moon is located in Scorpio, in the astrological sign of its fall. This planet ensures the occurrence of a worrisome period or a period of problems in the first house. Remember what the first house is all about. That's your health, a person's image, and their overall well-being. So, the moon here messes with our health and overall well-being. So, in this horoscope, the moon affects our health, overall well-being, and a person's image. But that is not going to happen forever. This is going to happen during a specific period when this damaged moon turns on. During the Vimshottari Dasha period, this moon, which lasted a little over a year, some changes really happened that had a negative impact on a person's life. His father passed away, so he was burdened with a plethora of new responsibilities that were abruptly dumped on him at the tender age of 15. It was a time of ups and downs, suffering, and even you could say poor health, due to being overloaded with work and responsibilities. As you can see, it is relatively simple to predict because the horoscope indicates to us when the planets will fulfill the promises they have made to us. Let's explore other events based on this horoscope. Saturn is placed in the 7th house, which signifies marriage. Saturn is a serious and focused planet, and it frequently displays individuals who are older than us. The wife of this man is 2 years older than the owner of the horoscope himself, and he got married to her during the period of Saturn. It was a period in 2001 that lasted for a year and a half. So after watching the program by Jigannatha Hora, we'll be able to see together when a particular planet will turn on. We have these frames until the hour and even until the minute. So we see when a certain promise will be fulfilled in the horoscope. This Saturn gave a stable marriage because it's in Taurus. Taurus is all about stability, predictability, and practicality. But Saturn is a dry planet by nature. It doesn't show much happiness. When Saturn is in the 7th house, it reduces the amount of love, tenderness, and care for each other. So this marriage was more like a partnership, where two partners simply go through life together rather than a union of two people in love. In this horoscope, you also see Mercury in Pisces in the house of children. Let's consider. On the one hand, Mercury is similar to a breath of fresh air. It has a lot of things happening. This guy has a lot of kids. On the other hand, Mercury is in the sign of Pisces. Mercury has a clear, logical nature. And fish signs are people who feel more than they think. They rely on visuals, impressions, and certain internal sensations and experiences. That's why Mercury in Pisces is considered a weak position. So the person doesn't really know how to handle themselves in a given situation. At times he focuses on logical factors, while at other times he gets sidetracked by sensations, impressions, and some kind of intuition. This guy, like a dad, really has a pretty tangled character and tangled results. At one point he's very involved in the kids' business, but then at another point he completely loses sight of them and doesn't see them. During the Mercury period, this person experienced a serious conflict with the kids, as each of them had a crucial learning phase and performed poorly in school. It was a period of conflicts, standoffs, and some sort of unspoken agreement between a parent and their children. As you can see, Mercury messes up the 5th house of children and messes up the joy of parenthood. This happened in 2019, when the Mercury period kicked in. So once again, we are going back to the principle of how we predict events based on the horoscope. This is a stationary image, but it does not operate consistently. She is employed on a part-time basis. Every position of the planet is activated only when the period of this planet comes. View the upcoming horoscope. It's also a male horoscope, but the horoscope's owner is much younger in age. He is presently approximately 33 years old and is currently experiencing a midlife crisis. The moon is the ruler of the first house in his horoscope. As you know, the first house is responsible for health, personality, and a person's image. And the moon carries these properties too. Just like the 11th house of achievements and accumulations, which is ruled by Venus in this horoscope, depends on the position of Venus. And Venus too. And when Venus turns on, she'll also show changes in status, wealth, and accumulations. So Venus, as the ruler of the sign, is highly connected to the energy of the home. And the position where it is situated reveals the extent of prosperity the house will possess. When the Venus period arrives, these changes will occur. However, I desire to demonstrate this horoscope to you in order to talk about the phase of the moon. Luna, boss of first health center, as I said, is in 6th house. Let's recall interpretations of 6th house. These are foes, obligations, and ailments. During this moon phase, which lasts for a span of 10 years, the person went through a period of deaths and illnesses. The moon period is really long. It lasts for 10 years. And of course, astrology allows you to find out more specific and shorter periods and predict events more accurately within these 10 years. So inside the period of the moon, there are periods of all the planets that occur in the horoscope. For example, in the period of Moon Saturn, this man messed up his knee and was unable to walk for a period of time. Why? Because the moon, the lady of the first house, is in the 6th, and the 6th is the house of illnesses, and the moon is responsible for health, and she is neighbors with Saturn. Let's remember the 5th lesson on connecting planets. Saturn always puts a cap on and organizes the planet that's next to it. The moon, delicate and soft, responsible for human health, suffered damage from Saturn during the Moon-Saturn period. Saturn naturally in astrology is responsible for bones, teeth, joints, and everything related to it. So, a knee injury and temporary disability, a career break for this person became quite a serious challenge, because it's the Tanso horoscope. Let's take a look at Mars in this horoscope. Mars is located in the sign of Scorpio. This is Mars' own sign, where he gets extra strength and power. Mars is a planet of sports, achievements, and other military qualities. Being in the sign of Scorpio, Mars indicates a strong and stable career in the military or sports domain. During Mars period, this guy achieved good accomplishments in his career in sports. So this is how we interpret the horoscope with you. Horoscopes are more interesting than any detective story. You are examining clues and details, inspecting the commitments of each planet, observing when a specific commitment takes effect, and piecing together events in an individual's life, documenting them like a detective. I invite you to study astrology more seriously and learn prognostication. After this mini course, you've got the basic techniques of how you can work with your horoscope if you're a beginner astrologer. Of course, we can't give you all the interpretations of the provisions in the sign, in the house, and so on. You have materials and sources for that where you can read about each position in detail. Here on this mini course, we're learning how to read these sources, how to use them, and how to put together interpretations into one overall picture. To learn how to interpret your horoscope professionally and determine events in life such as weddings and divorces, the birth of a child and buying an apartment, moving or selling real estate, and many other events, you can do this by completing the first stage of training at our school. This training goes on for 4 months. During this time, you'll be getting theoretical lessons recorded by me, the school director. Before moving on to the next lesson, you get a test. This test will make you check all the knowledge you gained in the previous lesson, practice them, and gain experience in analyzing horoscopes, because each test assumes that we will give you real horoscopes with real events and ask you to think about them by answering some questions. So in our school, we have a 3-tiered system of education. And at each stage, students acquire a valuable skill. While going through the theoretical lessons, you gain valuable hands-on experience that will come in handy for you in forecasting. Practicals assist you in practicing this material and incorporating it into your toolbox. Tests aid you in assessing yourself and gaining practice on specific horoscopes.